Absolutely. I've noticed also in life is like the longest learning experience, and it's fucking tedious because I have to live every single second of the learning part, like I think growing up, I very much so bought into the idea of like success is over there in the future. Over there it is. Like right now it's you don't have the feeling of you've made it or anything like that. Like keep pushing until you get over there. But I've also learned that like once I get there, once I accomplish goals, because I obviously accomplish a lot of goals, it's like I don't feel like everything's done. It's like, oh fuck, I thought at one point I was gonna understand and get everything down and I was gonna be set. And then you get to the point where you've been reaching for it and you're just like, fuck, dude, I'm like still just learning everything and like relearning. And then I forget things and it's like just learning, learning, learning. So now I know what people mean by it's a learning process.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's this pendulum effect too that, like, the more we, like, want something or, like, really hold that, eh, we push it away. It's like the more we're, like, pulling that pendulum towards us, the more it wants to go away. And so the more you want that woman or that money or that status or whatever you're chasing, you're pushing it away. You're pushing that pendulum further and further away from you.
Mhm.
So there's, like, this dance with it really of, like, moving towards something with purpose, but not being like not holding it like, all right, like I got this pendulum, like come here, pendulum, you have to push the desires away. It is a box, right?
It's
Um,
such a paradox because short term strategy that works really well. Just from like participating in sports, like the more I can dial it and focus and have complete tunnel vision, I'll get the result. Like just put a bunch of pressure and stress and just concentrate it and force and hold and not give up. I've succeeded a lot with sports in that, but doesn't work for everything, and that's where the wisdom comes in, I guess.
well, and that comes back to the like the thing I was talking about, Rudolf Steiner is like, this has actually helped me to have a lot more self compassion because we're literally just playing out like these patterns, and to the degree that we're not aware of it, it's just happening like on default, like a computer program. And so it's like, oh, we had these successful actions. Like, of course, we're going to do that in the future because we've deemed that that gets us some sort of a perception of pleasure. But the thing is, our internal state and external world is always evolving. And so strategies that maybe worked at one point maybe don't work at all, or maybe they just need to be tweaked. It's like there's just this incredible adaptive nature to it, and so it keeps coming back to like, is this thing inside of me, is it coming from a place? Is it emerging from a place that wants to be expressed and experienced, or is it something outside of me that is pulling me, that is like drawing me to it? Like, am I moving towards something outside of myself, or am I moving with something coming through me to do something? An example I can give of this, um, like part of the Rudolf Steiner exercises, you develop this awareness of your thoughts, your emotions, and your will, and you have the awareness of all of them at the same time. And there's a progression to it, so it takes a little bit to develop this. But there was a point where I realized like a total alignment, right? And so basically, I had the thought, and it was like, I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat that pork in the fridge. And then I tuned into my emotional center. I felt joy and expansion. And I tuned into my will center. And the will center is this center that it's where your body already knows what to do. Already, if you tune into it, you can just move and your body will take you somewhere. And so this is like your will. And so basically my will guided me to the fridge. I'm like observing my thoughts, my emotions. I'm opening the door and it's like, grab the pork, right? And so my thoughts, my emotions, and my will were all on the same page. That was what's going to nourish me in that moment. And our thinking center, our emotional center, and our will center are the seats of the soul, the three seats of the soul. Now, if we only listen to the head center, you're going to get mixed results. If you only listen to the feeling center, same thing, same with the will. So it's a matter of, where do they all line up? Where are they all saying the same thing? And that is your internal truth. That is your internal compass, but it's in three different centers. You need to be aware of each of them and what they're saying. Because if your mind is like, or let's just say, like a lot of people, they do the feeling, right? So it's like, oh, like I feel this, or I really love this person, or whatever. Okay, like good. Like, think about it for a moment. What happens if you get rid of all your stuff and you fly out to go see some person or whatever? It's like, just think about it a little bit, use your head center, and then what's the will center want to do? And tune into each of them and don't just act from one place or one place, diversify not diversify, but more so center all of them. Uh, and I think it's important to note at this point as well, because I study a lot of these different teachers, and especially like people like Rudolf Steiner and Hazrat Inayat Khan, who's a Sufi guy, and they teach a lot of ideals. And realistically, like even Steiner talks about, like they're not even achievable. Like some of Steiner's stuff is like, to do it is like kind of impossible in a way. I mean, it is, but it isn't. And so the goal isn't to be perfect at it; it's to make effort in that direction. And as long as we continuously make effort in that direction, we will be developing. And so I think that's the important thing of ideals, especially when we look at that on a societal level with all the things going on in the world. I think we can hold these ideals as like a target, but not expect it to like work out perfectly, because that's where you get to like utopian ideals and like, oh, the world's going to be perfect or whatever. It's like, so we hold the ideal, we hold that this is worth fighting for, this is worth dying for, and we move in that direction. As long as we're making effort, it's making progress.
I love that. That resonates very deep with me. Just making progress. My life has been literally a work in fucking progress.